science connection there. This is just to get your brains going. Probably.
Jokingly say evolution, but
Well, no, definitely there is an evolution. I mean, from the natural foot to this, right? Okay. What about math? What connection would there be with math?
Easier to count in elementary. You could see if they were wearing.
Ah, there you go. They could count up to
They
20.
could count. Okay, there you
They
go.
could do a 2-digit math.
You
Okay.
can even multiply, 5 times 2. or 2
Okay.
times 5.
What else?
You're gonna have to calculate
The
the
holes on the
size
shoe size.
and dimension, how much spacing there is for each toe, how deep you go with each toe. You're gonna have to calculate, I'm talking about math, right? Okay. Size, all of those things have to be factored in anytime you
In-
create a shoe.
You mean in the creation of a shoe like this? Okay, definitely.
art is actually in there too, because you have to create a mold to, like, you have to make a mold for that. like,
Okay, so
cast
there's-
But
and
that's
mold.
chemistry, because what elements are you gonna use?
What materials, yeah?
Materials are you
Okay.
gonna use, how are you gonna mix them, how long do you heat them? How do you create the mold, what shape does it have to be?
You know, there is a, there's a lawsuit out there that people have sued the company, one company, saying that their advertising is false. That the natural shoe isn't as good as it's purported to be. And, this one obviously is a Photoshop. That's Photoshop. Okay. So,
Pick some better feet.
yeah.
We can talk about why mammals have hairy toes.
Yeah, we said that too.
Okay. Well, there's a whole bunch of math you can think of. For example, just in terms of preferences.
Survey.
Yeah, who would prefer, this shoe or that shoe, or regular shoes and the 5-toed shoes? And there's a lot of data out there too, in terms of preferences. And they wouldn't have made them unless there was a market. And there was. And not only that, I think this is
There used to be a market for
the,
Kappa also.
this is,
A lot of people.
I can't read it, but Vibram, yes, Vibram, they came out with it first, and there's all these copycats now that have come out with that too. So, anyway, the point here being that there's math and science and everything. Okay, but I got your attention, didn't
Yes.
I? Okay.
Ugh.
Okay, so now we're going to open one of your books here, or it's probably copied in your, let's find out where they would have put it under resources maybe.
I think it's under resources.
Methods for teaching science,
That's the blue book that you wanted, is that the inquiry book?
Mm-hmm.
yes. Okay, where would that be? Help me out, Jen.
I'm gonna find it real quick. That is in your resources tab, behind possibly the 5 criteria for content selection PowerPoint.
Is it the technology tools and resources for inquiry science?
Yes, it looks like this.
Okay.
I don't see those pages in there.
Bridge picture.
I don't see those pages in there.
76 through 77?
Yeah, there's only 3 pages.
So if you go
Oh, I
right,
see.
that's the PowerPoint set of staples.
Yeah.
No, that's the PowerPoint of criteria and content selection, and then the PowerPoint of lesson planning. And it's right there.
Is it?
I don't think so.
No,
Yeah, it's still,
No. PowerPoint is it?
that was
After PowerPoint, you
76,
think?
it should say.
Lesson
These are
planning?
pages up to 200.
76
I don't see it in there, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe so.
Jen,
Yeah, I know.
We're running out of time. I think I'm gonna just skip it. So. Okay, anyway, it comes out of this book, and you don't have this book because it's $100 for this little itty bitty book. Yeah, that's what I said. But anyway, we were gonna go over an example lesson of science and proportional reasoning, and look at both the math and the science involved with proportional reasoning. Anyway, there it is. This is the little clip-on microscope. It just clips right on there. Okay, so back to your learner handbook. Yeah, let's see.
Should be page 20.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Let's see. We're just gonna skip that. Okay, so now pull out that little book that you just got today. Administrator's Guide. And you've already looked at it, pages 6 through 8. Now I want you to read closely. So take a few minutes and just read through it. It's about this teacher that is engaging their students in a hands-on learning or math learning experiment or experience.
My child is gonna struggle in geometry.
And there's highlighters in little baskets on the table. In the highlights. Everybody done?
Oh, do you wanna read this? I'm sorry, I didn't even realize you didn't have what to read over.
Okay, in general terms, if you had to grade this teacher, A, B, C, or D, what kind of grade would you give him? Talk to your elbow partner. David and Greg, why don't you check?
What direction it is. So maybe a C. Also here, when several groups have gone in with an observation, then he writes in the board what's moving forward. And the students, yesterday we discussed on the bottom, we had to come up with this. They did it in groups, revision stay instead of rewriting it. How did I know the learning I just said the depth.
Okay, so did you agree on a grade?
Yeah.
Okay, Tom and Mark, what'd you agree on? A, B, C, or D?
B plus A minus.
B plus, A minus? Okay,
We said a B.
let's, hang on, let's
Section 15 minus E plus.
Okay. So, we had,
A minus,
B plus.
okay, I'm gonna put an X right there,
We had a B.
a B,
B.
a B,
Minus. Minus.
B minus,
A.
okay. What am I, okay, there's an A, also an A. Okay, so in terms of what we talked about yesterday, would this teacher be a 90 percentile teacher or a 25 percentile teacher?
Closer
Okay.
to 90.
Closer to 90.
Closer to 90.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you give him an A?
said that the teachers set the student up with the best potential to succeed, had the materials ready, did the preparation, asked very good questions, gave the children the opportunity to work through it on their own, but still had support when they needed it. I thought that was very good.
Okay, something else?
Well, he started with the engage, then he let them explore, then he did some of the explain, then they went back, the students then on their own and did elaboration, and then it was evaluated at the end. So we felt like it was an A because based on what we read, he had full participation, all the groups knew what they were doing. We wondered if there were any special ed kids in the class or any ELEP kids in the class that needed extra support, but it didn't say that, so we're just gonna assume that all the kids were able and had the background knowledge necessary to develop a proof like this.
Plus, he did a good assessment, because what he was doing was going to each group, and in particular the one group that was mentioned, and that he let them discuss and be wrong instead of jumping right in and saying, you need to correct this. Gave them an opportunity to discuss it further and examine it to see what worked and didn't work. But I like the fact that he, once he went around the room, felt that the room really was at a place where he could go to the next step. He did that, and he gave them a conjecture. And the conjecture, I thought, was a very good one because it guided them and directed them and focused them on how to use, moving forward. So I felt he used best practices.
And more than one way to solve the problem, because the inscribed circle, that would have never occurred to me in a million years. But he was allowing everybody to have their own, as long as they could get to the proof.
Okay. So, if I, condensing all that you said, there was a 5E structure there, and there were some demonstration of constructivist thinking where every student was allowed to build their own idea of what they thought was a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So these two groups thought it was an A, and then we had A minus, B, and B minus. So why didn't you give him an A? So, Dave.
Well, I think if he would have taken it outside and more brought into the real, as much as possible, still we're start talking about abstract in the classroom, but if it had gone outside.
Still very abstract.
Right.
Let's just talk about this ridiculous story where I have a triangular backyard and a
But
dog.
if the kids had gone outside, actually designed the background.
Okay, how about y'all?
We were just talking, some of the things that we added on was, when he did the conjecture, we kind of felt like he waited for all the kids to come up with it, and then he went up to the board and just said it. That's where we had that conversation. Tell me, how did you do this? What was it? Give me, and then he could have. It was, instead of just going up there writing it, so he could have enhanced it that way. What else did we say?
Okay, how about y'all?
I think we kind of discussed some similar things as well, and then also the difference between reading and seeing. We didn't feel comfortable giving him an A+ without seeing the relationship, seeing, how he actually worded questions and things like that. So that's kind of what we took on some of the.
Yeah, and who were the kids in the class, because I
Yeah.
think that matters.
That would have helped to evaluate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's analyze it a little bit more in your work, your learner handbook there. There's some questions. So review the case study in Administrator's Guide, page 68. What are the students doing? Just write a couple of sentences there. What is the teacher doing? And then what isn't the teacher doing? Yeah, work with your partner on that.
But having conversations.
Small groups.
Seem to be.
Small group.
modeling or collecting of information.
But creating other ideas they use more standard
And so that's under
language.
representation.
So check the understanding.
So they could do a drawing.
I think this one is hard to do in reality.
There's connecting like to the Pythagorean theorem.
That would be like,
Circle.
to see kids doing that
The
without
connection
some.
and the problem solving, they decided how to start and go forward.
Oh, they should check it for understanding, provide.
And then they're reasoning.
Creative, so they're creative.
Yes.
So what was the teacher doing?
Making the model complete.
Clarifying.